So how potent is the GABA in this GABA
The
tea?
GABA is potent. It is like
what are we taking here?
13 GABA pills.
What?
Yeah. So the tea is powerful. It breaks through what we call the blood-brain barrier. So when you drink it, it goes straight through. It doesn't have to work. It doesn't have to go all the way through your esophagus, down to your...
It's a straight shot.
It's a straight shot.
It's an express train.
Welcome to MENO with Jacqueline Buckingham. The authority on menopause, perimenopause, and wherever you are on the pause spectrum. I'm Jacqueline Buckingham, founder of MENO, and firm believer that menopause is status, not a sentence. If you're here, something in your body or your life is asking for your attention, and you're not meant to navigate that alone. In our first 2 seasons, we started this conversation, won an Anthem Award, and brought you the leading experts before they were on Oprah. Now we're raising the standard. Each week, I bring you the verified providers, menopause specialists, and authorities you need to understand what's happening in your body and what to do next. From the gold standard in HRT and the little pink pill for sexual desire, to the conversations no one else is having about relationships, identity, and mental health. This is the full picture of your health, because this stage of your life is not just about symptoms. This is about how you live, how you feel, and how to embrace it all, because you have arrived. Pausing or not, start here. This is MENO with Jacqueline Buckingham.
My next guest is Denise Pines. She's the co-founder and CEO of Tea Botanics, the founder of Wise Paws Wellness, a Peabody Award-winning filmmaker, and a global leader in fem-tech. She's here to talk about all things women midlife, and I'm so happy that she's also my new friend. Here is Denise Pines. I love your tea.
Thank you.
I love the way it looks, even though I haven't tried it yet, because we're going to try it right here today, which is so exciting. But the packaging is amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
And
won a couple of awards.
Yeah, tell me about the awards.
So we won one of the largest awards you win in package design, which is package graphic.
Amazing. Yeah. It's really incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about your whole everything, because you have so many credentials that I said to you earlier, where do I even begin with you? Because you're a filmmaker, you created Wise Paws, you're such an advocate, you've been to Davos. Truly, where do we begin? Your tea is getting into Target. There's so many things to talk about. Where do you want to start?
I know, it's sort of a loaded question, but I'll sort of summarize. Like, I consider myself a Renaissance woman, right? An age enthusiast as well. And so I'm at the intersection of health, tech, and film. Inside of health, the age empowerment part is all started when I got a hot flash. Yeah. Because before then, I didn't think I was old. But once I got the hot flash and recognized that what was happening, I knew I wanted to deal with it naturally. Yeah. And so I partnered with my doctor and we co-created Tea Botanics and did the first tea, hot flash tea. I took it, it worked. That led me on a journey to talking to women. Yeah. And what I realized is that so many women were like me, caught off guard, confused, and then feeling isolated because at that time, nobody was talking about it. Yeah. I knew, though, because of the hat that I wore in medical regulation, at the time I was, I think, maybe the vice president of the Medical Board of California. Okay. And I knew I could bring the doctors to the table, right? But it was a little bit convincing them. Like, they all said yes, but convincing them, like, you're talking to regular women. This is not a conference of your peers. So you have to sort of, distill this into where they can understand and not walk away being confused because you use too much jargon. So we did that. And I also wanted to make sure that we created like a safe space, a place where women felt like, I don't know the woman next to me, but I can tell her that my vagina is on fire. Yes, right. Exactly. And she would understand what I'm talking about. Right. So I wanted to create that kind of environment. And I also wanted it to be a beautiful place. So we do it at the Skirball Center, which is near, up in the hills, near Getty, and it's all glass. So it even feels like you have, transformed. Right. And then one day I'm reading this article about fem-tech. Yeah. And there was one out of the 15 solutions, there was one solution geared towards midlife women. Okay. And I thought, well, where are all the fem aging solutions? Right. And so decided to do something called the Fem Aging Project, where we would create research that had not been done at all on midlife women in terms of what it was that they wanted.
Right.
Because I'm a Black woman, I wanted to over-index in women of color. So we actually got their input and what they needed. And then we started doing pitch competitions to like generate this interest and this desire to innovate, and also to work with innovators so that if you're 26 years old, get a doctor so that you innovate correctly for these women.
Right.
And then I started just meeting with investors to teach them even just basically what fem-tech was.
Okay.
Right. And so that led us down a journey, and we ended up raising like $250,000 and giving that away in terms of our pitch competitions. And then in film,
Yeah.
I always had told my business partner, like, I want to do the first menopause film. And she was like, okay. You know, like, what? And so we, you know, sort of put this treatment together, and I went out shopping. So I went to the broadcasters, I went to the streamers, and they were running me out of there. Like, get out of here, Denise. Like, and I've produced, like, at that time, 12 documentaries. They were like, what else do you have? And I'm like, this is what I have on for the moment, right? And they were like, who's going to watch that? And I was like, 52% of the U.S. population are women.
Yeah.
I think that's enough to watch it.
I think
right?
so.
I think it's enough.
I think so. 75 million?
Exactly.
Is that enough? Is that okay? What do you think?
Yeah. You think? I think they'll do it. You know, that journey led me to actually meeting Tamsin.
Yeah.
So met her, and just as we're like sort of getting off the phone, talking to each other, I go, hey, girl, you know, I'm looking at doing a film. She was like, what? Me too. She's like, I've been just shooting women's random stories about like how they're feeling. I'll send you some over. So looked at it, and that just got me like really fired up, right?
Amazing.
And so boom, went and said like, let's try and do this film together and, you know, see what comes out of it. And
Incredible. And then you got to go to Davos.
And then we got to show it in Davos. We got invited to show the film in Davos. They were like, we're going to give you an hour. And so I was like, an hour? Well, that's the film.
Yeah.
So, and I wanted to make sure that we had like a discussion.
Sure.
That first film had a whole nice scene about the workplace.
Yeah.
You know, what does it look like when women start experiencing perimenopause and menopause in the workplace?
Right.
So we went to this company that has done like a fantastic job on changing the culture of their business so that menopause is not a bad word, that everyone can talk about it,
Right.
that they had benefits in place so you can take advantage from a healthcare perspective. They had incorporated this, you know, sort of midlife experience inside their company. So we sort of told that part, and then we did like a nice Q&A conversation where we brought some of the global leaders that were at Davos into the dialogue. So it was amazing.
Really incredible. Did you feel very embraced there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're standing room only. We had, I think, 10 men in the room. Yeah. So a crowded room in Davos is 75 people, right? Because Davos, everything is just so small. And I was like, oh my gosh, we have men here. Thank you for coming. And, you know, a lot of them were younger men. They were curious.
Yeah.
They wanted to know, well, what is this thing? Like maybe it's an experience they knew their mother was having.
Sure.
And so really wanted to know more. Right.
Very interesting.
And that was the beauty of people who are at Davos. The people at Davos are change agents. Yeah. They're looking to improve society across all of its spectrums.
Right.
You know, climate change to AI to the workplace. You know, it was a great place for us.
You were with your people.
I was with my people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Those of us who are thinking about like, hey, here's this thing that doesn't really exist yet. I'm putting it into the norm.
Yeah.
And when you do, you've got to bang down a lot of doors.
Yeah.
And even if you have done that many documentaries and you get, what else do you have, Denise?
Yeah.
It's kind of when you know you're onto something that's right.
Oh, I knew we were onto something when like the amount of women who were reaching out saying, I want to screen the film.
Yeah.
We ended up doing like 1,500 screenings in 50 countries, including like places like Kuwait, where there are, you know, policies around for women that, you know, bear them from doing certain kinds of things. So we were fascinated that they wanted to screen this film. And it was the government that wanted to screen the film.
Do you know why? Did they come to you?
They came to us. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. So it just became a global phenomenon.
Absolutely
right?
incredible.
And it was a very much an American story. But what it told me was that Perimenopause and menopause is universal.
Yes, it is.
That the suffering is universal.
Yes.
That the lack of care is universal.
Yeah.
That the dismissal is universal, right? And so on that, we were all uniting.
I mean, that was like a full body chills moment when you said Kuwait.
Yeah.
Because it's so similar and yet so different. So we have this shared through line.
Yes.
And yet it is completely tinted by way of our own societal norms.
Yes,
And
exactly.
And so for a woman in Kuwait, it's a totally different experience, although it's the same.
Yes. Even in India.
Fascinating.
So in India, they don't have HRT. Unless you're really, really wealthy and you fly it in. But women can't get that. That's not an option there.
Wow.
We complain about the patches ran out.
Sure.
Complaining about the patches running out. Well, they don't have patches or pills
Right.
or anything. So there's definitely suffering there. And they had multiple screenings because I think what they're trying to do is start to build a sort of coalition to advocate for solution help.
Right.
Right. And so our film is a tool. And that was the whole point for us to do it. It was to create awareness. It was to destigmatize this issue that happens to every woman.
Yeah.
And it was to get people, companies, legislators to use it to have a broader conversation about how can we now start having policy to change some of these things that are just not changing. Right.
So what is one of the things that really surprised you about something that changed because of the film?
I think like the policies. So all of the policies, I think there are 23 states now that have some type of policy in place, whether it's a policy around healthcare insurance covering menopause, whether it's about protecting women in the workplace, or it's about educating physicians, so mandating or recommending them to take a continuing medical education course specifically on perimenopause, menopausal symptoms.
Okay.
So I think the use of the film in that way and really being powerful to sort of implement policy has been, I think, one of the biggest shockers.
It's incredible. I mean, really the power of film and bring that together with the largest demographic that's ever walked the planet.
Yeah.
And you've got yourself a pretty good recipe for changing policy.
Yes. So whenever I do films, I always look at how are we changing the narrative?
Yeah.
So in this case, we changed the narrative by telling women's lived experiences,
Right.
Showing that there are physicians that are helpful and that there are solutions that are already in place.
Right.
So this is not, let's create something new, let's innovate. Innovation has already been there. Mm-hmm. It's just then there's been a lack of information. There's on the doctor side and on the patient side, there's been this fear that's, started about 22 years ago. And so how do we sort of like change that story so that we can create a new narrative that women can thrive in midlife?
Definitely.
That these are years to be celebrated, that these are some of our best years, our joyful years.
Oh, yes.
Right? So that was the point of what we were trying to do with that film.
And you definitely did it.
Yeah.
And so now there's been an M Factor 2, which is an M Factor stream on PBS.
Yes.
And what's next? Now what's next?
So we're thinking about women's longevity.
Yeah.
So we factually know, and it's factual, that women live anywhere from 4 to 10 years longer.
Right.
But we don't know why, right? There are some research being done around ovarian rejuvenation. Mm-hmm. Also, the fact that women are born with 3 chromosomes, 2 X's and a Y. But one of the X's is dormant. So we really think we only have the X and Y that's active. But here's what a discovery that's happened more recently is that X, that one that's been dormant, activates at midlife. And the minute I heard that, I went, oh my God, that's our superpower.
That makes so much sense to me.
That's what takes us longer. But we don't know why. Why does it activate at midlife?
That's the other X.
That's
the other X.
What
that makes so much
do?
sense to me.
Doesn't it make so much sense?
Honestly,
yes.
This is like a moment where I'm like, oh my God, you've just blown my mind.
Yeah.
But that makes perfect sense. Because I truly do feel like since my big hormonal shift happened, which was very isolating and confusing, and I had just interviewed the world's leading experts, I did feel like I had this kind of whole other, it was like waking up and then being like, oh, wait a minute, there's this whole other thing here. And so tell me more about this X that gets activated.
So that's what they're studying right now. So they are trying to figure out like what creates the activation?
Right.
And then once it's activated, what is it really doing in our bodies? It's really exciting, but we need more money for research.
Right.
And I'm so glad that Melinda Gates, announced that she's putting, $250 million into more research, because research for women's, health kind of has stalled a little bit. So that's what we need. We need to advocate now with the government to put more dollars into women's research. I mean, it really is a sad case when you look at women's research, like in this country, that only 4 to 6% of money goes into women's research around health.
And out of that 4 to 6%,
most of it goes towards women in childbearing years.
It makes zero sense, right? That out of 100%, you've got 4 to 6%. And out of that 4 to 6%, you've got barely 1.
Yes.
Which is absolutely insane when we're talking about we are truly the largest and most powerful demographic that's ever walked the face of the planet, holding a collective $15 trillion.
Yes. Yes.
Which is so exciting and also makes it a little bit of a predatory landscape, if you will, for marketers who maybe are more interested in what's in our purse rather than what's in ourselves.
Yes.
And making sure that we are working with institutions that are absolutely on board for the right reasons, which there are so many, which is thrilling.
Yes.
I mean, I love seeing how many universities are coming to the table.
Yes.
UCLA's department, Stanford's department, Cornell, Harvard.
Yes.
It's now happening, which is thrilling.
Yes. Yes. And, a lot of those already had things in place.
Yes, absolutely.
So now they're able to actually grow and create some models and go and help other universities, right? But we still have a problem.
Yeah.
The problem we have is that it's not in curriculum.
Exactly.
Right? And it should be in curriculum, not its own isolated conversation, perimenopause and menopause, but it should be throughout. Like we should be studying the life stage of women.
Right.
Because women evolve from puberty into childbearing years, into perimenopause, into menopause, and then into like our later years, right?
Yeah.
And so there's even like this window between 55 and 65 that is very different to 45 and 55. That time has not been studied of women. And then I think we go into sort of a trajectory of like aging. Right? But we need to even study those years, and we haven't studied hardly anything about women, honestly. I mean, we can't even deliver babies safely. I mean, it's not a guarantee.
Exactly.
When you look at the statistics, America ranks 23rd. We're number 1 in the world.
Yeah.
But when it comes to safely delivering a child, and the mother, we're 23rd.
Yeah.
That means third world.
It does. That's what Anousheh Hossain was talking about on the show.
Yeah.
And I just re-listened to her episode, and I was like, wow, these statistics are harrowing.
Yes.
Because I had no idea. Actually, before I was introduced to her, I had no idea. And that's what her book is about, the pain gap, which it seems unreal. It really does.
I know, because we're in America.
We're in America.
You can get anything at any time, anywhere.
Yeah. She came from Bangladesh, which she had this whole notion that like America was it. That is where you get the best of everything. Yeah. And then she came here and had a family and everything, and then went to go deliver one of her children and almost died.
Yeah.
And that began her whole advocacy, which is just so important, so harrowing. And also, if we look at it in the positive, and that's the way I'm trying to look at everything, actually, like framing in the positive. Like, yes, we have these gaps. So now what do we get to do with them? What do we get to do with them?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And I think that part gets to be fun because we're in this together.
Yeah.
And there's no one provider or one institution or even one person who can do it all.
No.
We can take this moment to be like, wait a minute, we've all kind of kept our information siloed. We've kept our body areas siloed. We've kept these things like menopause and perimenopause completely stuck on a shelf, and let's not even talk about it. So now that it's off the shelf, it's great.
Yes.
But I do see it as an opportunity to bring together different media, whether it's the film plus research plus women, right? Having women be part of the conversation, that we're not waiting around for a doctor to say something to us. We're saying, hey, this is what's going on right now in me. That is the research.
Exactly.
And here's how I can contribute to this on a global level.
Yeah, it's so funny. We just released a report a couple of days ago. And it was based on the film. So people who came, before they came to watch a screening anywhere in the world, we did a pre-survey, and then we did a post-survey. And so we revealed the data. And so 75% of the people who did the survey were just regular women. I'll call them patients.
Right.
And then 25% were actual providers.
Okay.
Doctors, OBGYNs, PAs, nurse practitioners, endocrinologists.
Yeah.
And what we found was that people realized there needs to be like a coalition. Like we have to approach this with government being involved.
Exactly.
Doctors being involved, organizations being involved.
Yeah.
In order for us to really move the needle on this issue, right? Because obviously we ran out of patches. So it means that we don't have enough in production.
Right.
Not every woman can do a patch. They might have to do a pill. Not every woman wants to do, HRT. So we need to really focus also on what kind of natural solutions that are there. What foods should women at midlife be eating?
Sure.
So a lot of that was sort of revealed in the data. We also discovered that doctors and women are thinking differently about where information is coming from. So when in our first film, we did the same pre and post survey.
Okay.
Women at that time, just a year ago,
Yeah.
first got their information from their clinician and then friends and family. 1 year later, because of really all the information that women are starting to hear, they're now going to their friends and family, then to their clinician.
Right.
But what it means is they're trying to gather enough information so that when they actually go to the clinician, they're having a good conversation.
Right.
That they're saying, I think I might be perimenopause.
Yes.
Where before they're like, something's going on with me, doc. I don't know what it is.
Right.
I've got this and I've got that, right?
Yeah.
Now they're like wanting to gather information so they go a little bit more prepared. So when they leave out of that 12 or 15-minute experience with their physician, that they actually have a solution that's in place.
That could be the solution if we were like, oh, we have so much time and we don't have these giant gaps.
Yeah.
But now since we have these giant gaps, like you were saying, that coalition model of coming together to solve for this group of us that kind of got put on a shelf.
Yeah.
And I think that's exciting.
Yeah.
I do. I think it's really, really exciting.
It is. In this space, really, midlife wellness is really, really exciting.
Yeah.
Because I think we'll see more women who are very successful, like Melinda Gates, step up and put more dollars into women's research.
Yeah.
So I think why have we not solved for PMS? I know. Why have we not solved for endometriosis? These things have been around
on the shelf, just on the shelf.
You know what happens is that the decision makers of research have been men.
Yeah.
And when it comes to these issues around women, they go, oh, so complex. They're so complex. And so what that means is, not going to do anything.
Exactly.
And so that's really what's been happening.
Right.
We're not going to do anything. And they're so complex. The hormones, the changing, the menstruation, all of that.
Yeah.
Well, we need to study these things.
Yeah.
Right? Women are so incredible. I wish that we all grew up with that sort of belief, right? That when you have a girl, you go, my God, I have magic.
Yes.
She's going to birth some humans. She's going to take care of the world.
She's going to birth ideas.
She's going to have great ideas. She's going to do all this. She's going to go to work. She's amazing. She's so magical. But we don't grow up like that.
No. Could you be quiet?
Could you be quiet?
Could you look more pleasant?
Why are you talking so much?
Could you not talk about anything involving the parts that I don't want to hear about at all?
Exactly.
Yeah, which is biology. Yeah. Really, it's like, can we not talk about biology and all of these functions, which are the very things that allow our human race to proliferate?
Yes. So that's why we have to bring men along.
Yes,
and that's what we did in this last film. So we brought men into this conversation, and they were adorable. They're so cute. They talked about, how much they wanted to help their wives, and they, talked about how like they had to change.
Yeah.
Right. Like that they were evolving as well as their spouse was evolving.
Yeah.
And it was just really great to hear, that kind of conversation, on film.
Yeah.
For other men to see that.
Obviously, when we talk to physicians in this space, it's a different kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But like with one of our tech partners, I was talking about, building MENO, and he got tears in his eyes, and he was like, "This is so important." He was like, "I really want to be a part of this project."
Yes.
And I'm like getting emotional thinking about it, but it's because I could see in his face, he was telling me about what his wife has gone through.
Yeah.
And so maybe they just didn't notice because it's not in them, because they weren't feeling it. I don't even look at it as like, oh my gosh, those men. It's like, you know what? We're in this together.
Yeah.
And in those conversations I've had with people that are outside of like the women's health space, especially in perimenopause and menopause, when I've had these conversations, every single man I've spoken to has said, this is so important. I want to be part of this. And if I'm not, I wish you so much luck.
Yeah. I think that we haven't invited men in.
I agree.
I think that's one. I think
agree.
also that women have been suffering in silence.
Yes.
So a lot of times men didn't know unless something was really, really obvious.
Right.
Right. And then we didn't know how to talk about it. Yeah. So if I'm not talking about it, you're definitely not talking about it.
Exactly.
We're definitely not talking about it. And yes, all the men who have, just participated all on the back end, front end of everything that we've done, they are just so excited. I mean, we created the Menopause Care Directory.
Yes.
As a result of like doing this film. And it came out of when we were traveling to screenings.
Yeah.
Women would, first after they would come up crying and like thanking us, they would go, do you know where I can find a doctor? And I'm like, well, we're in Minnesota.
Yes.
I'm not really sure, but let me get back to you, right?
Exactly.
And so we said, let's create the Menopause Care Directory.
Most definitely.
So that women who now want to see a menopause specialist, that there was a way in which they can do that.
Right.
And so we created that directory. So this go around when we came into the film, first it was just the film, the first one.
Right.
This time we said we're creating an ecosystem.
Yeah.
One where we traveled the country and talked to employers in 10 states.
Right.
We created the menopausecare.com directory to help women find specialists. That's what they wanted
and
to go
every
to.
woman should look at that directory. It's an incredible piece of work.
Yeah. And we created a couple other apps. One for companies, the cost of the menopause costs of care.
Yeah.
So what it's costing your company, even though you don't know what's costing, because 1 in 4 women will leave her workplace.
Yes.
Right?
Incredible statistic. Amazing statistic, right?
It's crazy. And so you think of the cost that it's going to take to replace a midlife woman.
Right.
Someone who's been at your company, knows all the company secrets, know how it all works.
Yeah.
And you've lost her.
Yeah, decades of intelligence.
Decades of
right
intelligence.
At the moment where that X is coming online.
Exactly.
That X, that
right.
chromosome is coming on. Truly, but that is the moment where I feel like there is this other level of intelligence that comes in at that point.
Yes.
Because we're not having to focus our brain as much on raising the kids, having the dinner on the table, at least in my case, and in generally when you get to this age and you're doing other things.
Exactly. And we shift too, like our things that we're concerned about shift. Like when we're younger, we care about what people say. We're caring about how we look and how we're projecting ourselves. And then you hit midlife, you're like, I really don't care. I don't care. Like, this is it.
I know,
this
right?
Is it. This is me.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not trying to fit in the itty bitty bikini. I'm still going to wear the bikini. I might have a little bulge. Might have a dimple, but like I'm still I don't care. I'm still gonna sport it. Right?
Don't care at all.
Yeah, I remember when I was young and went on a trip to St. Bart's.
Yeah,
and it was a couple older women there, and they all had on bikini. And in St. Bart's, you can go like topless. And a couple of them had topless with the droopy boobs, and I was like, "Go, girls!
Yes,
go!" Right?
Yes.
Not realizing one day I'm that person. right? I'm that person.
That's right.
And I hope that young person says to me, go girl.
I do too. Absolutely. Absolutely. I feel like we do become like really like more sovereign and more of these authorities at that point where really anything goes.
Yeah.
So yes to the droopy boobs in the, like just yes and do that in St. Bart's. Like please, all the time.
Yes.
So let's talk about Wise Paws because it's coming up and I'm so excited and I'm thrilled to be able to be there this year and be doing a table.
Yes.
So thank you. And I'm so excited.
Thanks
and what's
for joining
different about
us.
this year than other years?
This one, we're going to focus a bit more on perimenopause.
Yeah.
So that's going to be sort of the weaving theme throughout all of the conversations. I mean, we're going to kick off today with a doctor from UCLA who's also in the film, Dr. Patel.
Yeah.
Sort of giving us just a, one-on-one perimenopause.
Right.
And then we'll go into a conversation with different doctors, a functional doctor, very traditional OBGYN, and a certified naturopath.
Okay.
And we're just I'll run that kind of conversation, just different topics that we'll talk about.
Right.
And then we talk about fashion. And what happens is our body shifts. And a lot of times what women do is they start dressing like a box.
Huh.
Right. Or they go into black.
Yes.
Right.
This is so
The BDs.
interesting.
So we talk about, so I have like a stylist come and show like, these different clothes or your existing clothes and like what to do. Okay, you want to wear black? Wear a scarf, really colorful. Let's put some earrings, maybe do this to the hair.
Oh, I love that.
Right, so that we feel like that we don't have to look frumpy just because we're midlife and we got a couple bulges.
Absolutely.
Then we talk about things that are like uncomfortable to talk about. Like I might talk to you about my night sweats and my hot flashes, but I'm not going to talk to you about the fact that I haven't had sex with my husband in 6 months because it's painful.
Yeah.
Right. And I haven't talked to my doctor about it because I'm just embarrassed.
Right.
And my husband sees I'm in pain, so he doesn't want me to be in pain. So we have those kind of conversations about what women can do.
Right.
And incontinence. The woman sitting in the audience and is like, I cannot laugh because if I do,
That's right. I'm going to have to leave.
I'm going to have to leave if I do that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And then we talk about, hey, you might want to do something to yourself. You might want to liven up your face, right? So we have a plastic surgeon.
Nice.
Who will talk about the non-invasive to invasive.
Great.
Things that you can do. And then we end the day with a sound bath because I am very much a therapeutic kind of girl. So, then we release everyone we do an afters, because that's what the young people call it, an after party.
Yes, of course.
So we have an after party with non-alcoholic, alcoholic stuff, tapas, and then women get to experience all of these therapeutic therapies, like microcurrent and acupuncture and acupressure. And
I love that.
all kinds of other things that exist in the universe that help to actually rebalance the body. And especially at midlife, we've reached midlife. Like we've gone halfway. And some people have lived a hard life up to
Absolutely.
halfway. Some may not, but we may not know that we can rebalance and recalibrate just through a massage or just through acupressure or acupuncture or just through a microcurrent vibrating our body. So I love introducing women to these kinds of therapies.
I love the way you framed that because it takes it from something that seems like it's more fluffy and like unnecessary or, something that, just isn't needed. Or it's like, oh, well, okay.
Yeah.
Almost like undeserving in a way.
Yeah.
But you just made it so profound.
Yeah.
Because you're right.
Yeah.
I've had incredible, where that X turned on in a massage where you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And it does feel like a recalibration.
It does, right?
And essentially we are energy and our hormones are related to that energy.
Yeah.
And that makes perfect sense. I love thinking about that part of technology being plugged in that way because there are so many interesting devices out there and great companies that are producing incredible technology. Yeah. And now so many more of them coming into the market.
Yes.
So I love that we're doing that at WisePause.
Yeah.
I love that that's happening.
Yeah.
I'm thrilled about it.
Yeah. So WisePause is exciting. And we started last year the Wise Paws Menopause Recognition Awards.
Okay.
So we honored Tamsin, my buddy.
Yes.
Holly Berry.
Yes.
And CVS Health. So CVS Health was the first company to become officially what they call menopause-friendly accreditation. there is actually an accreditation.
Ooh.
We'll be honoring Assemblywoman Rebecca Bauer Kahn, who has led 2 pieces of legislation in the state of California, and she's just been a champion.
Amazing.
She's 46, and she started having perimenopausal symptoms.
Yeah.
And she started bringing the conversation into chambers, like to
Right.
talk about it, and then realized, well, my God, there's nothing to help women.
Yeah.
What the heck? I'm a legislator. I'm going to change it.
And what did she do?
So she put forth 2 bills. The first bill was a bill to cover for insurance providers,
Okay.
including Medi-Cal, which is in our state,
Right.
Medicaid in other states, to cover the cost of menopause care.
Okay.
Right?
Yes. That's
Her
incredible.
next one was to mandate continuing medical educations for physicians if 25% of their patient population was 40 and above.
Oh, that's excellent.
Right? So this is the kind of legislation that we need to have passed.
Absolutely.
We're past the do the right thing.
I think so. And that's a very smart legislation. Like when I studied at Harvard in lifestyle medicine, and I remember that's where I learned about SMART goals. That's specific and measurable and attainable. And that's what that bill feels like.
Yes.
It feels like, oh, instead of just being like, hey, look, there's the macro and the micro. But I like that very specific approach.
Yeah.
And I love that she's going to be there.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're really excited.
Yeah.
Want to definitely celebrate her and Genentech, who has just done some amazing work. And then Kelly Casperson, who we all love.
We love her. I don't think there's one person on the planet that doesn't love her.
She's amazing.
She just is.
She's special.
She's so
There's
special.
some people who are special. She's special. I don't know if you know Dr. Sharon Malone.
Yes, I do.
She's special.
She's special.
You know, Mary Claire Haver. She's special.
Yeah.
There are Dr. Von der Wright. She's special. There are a number of these doctors that are they're special.
Dr. Rachel Rubin.
Yes, special.
Special.
Right?
I mean, yes. And those were the doctors that inspired me to start this podcast in 2023.
Awesome.
And that was kind of had a similar experience where it was like doctors weren't as much talking about it, but everybody said yes. But it was kind of like, and how are we going to do this?
Yes.
And it was really exciting. I mean, what an exciting time.
Yeah.
And so now I'm just realizing we haven't had our tea.
Oh,
Thank you so much, Carol.
this is the hot flash tea.
These are such good colors.
Yes.
It's so much fun. I just want to look at these.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to buy all of them because when I open up my tea cabinet,
Yeah.
I see all the colors. Here's to coming together.
Yeah, it's coming together.
Yes.
Awesome. So what's in this tea is the base is an oolong tea, which is an earthy taste. And then we have black cohosh, wild yam, and echinacea. So each one, black cohosh and wild yam are estrogen mimickers.
Okay.
So they're a natural way to stimulate our estrogen.
Oh.
The echinacea, what we realize is by midlife, we've got a lot of junk in the trunk.
We do.
Meaning toxins. And so we have a very gentle echinacea in the tea that helps to detox the body gently. Because if you have had a lot of toxins in your body by midlife, you cannot go and do these sort of detox teas that people will have.
Yeah.
A lot of times it will put toxins back into your system.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. So detox is definitely something people need to work with experts on, or nutritionists, or,
I
holistic
agree.
person or a natural person.
Right.
Because you don't know if you have a really toxic liver,
That's true.
right?
Yeah.
And when we first were in sort of developing this tea, we had sage, and it was too powerful. We had our test, subjects, and one person didn't know. They weren't on any medication, so they thought they were healthy.
Yeah.
They didn't know that they had a toxic liver.
Mm.
They drunk the tea, and it put the toxins out into their body. They got jaundice.
Oh, how interesting.
Yes. And we detox in a number of ways. So that's like, taking stuff in to detox. But we detox every time that we breathe out.
That's true.
We're detoxing.
That's right.
Or our just natural bodies eliminate waste.
Or moving, right? Our
Right?
life is
Or
like getting rid of
moving
stuff.
and sweating.
So what makes this echinacea special? Because this tastes really good. It has earthy. I'm
Yes,
generally like a
earthy. It's
sweet
earthy.
person.
Yeah.
But I really love the taste.
Yeah. So it's just a combination. And then we have what we call GABA tea. GABA tea is in every single one of these.
Oh, okay.
That's our
Universal to these teas.
to our teas.
Oh, this is exciting.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
So
'Cause
this
I
is
think
what
of
we
GABA
said.
as like, let's be chill.
Yeah. And GABA is sort of let's be chill.
Yeah.
But what happens is as we age, we naturally produce GABA in our brain. So we have a neurotransmitter that produces GABA. But as we age, it decreases.
Right.
So we realized there was a correlation between our reproductive hormones decreasing along with the GABA. So what we do is put GABA back into the brain when you drink this tea, and it elevates back up your estrogen, right?
Yes.
So your hot flashes diminish, the brain fog diminishes, the night sweats diminish. So we figured out like what the potency we had to get the GABA tea at.
This is exciting. So how potent is the GABA in this GABA tea?
The GABA is potent. It is like
what are we taking here?
13 GABA pills.
What?
Yeah. So the tea is powerful. It breaks through what we call the blood-brain barrier. So when you drink it, it goes straight through. It doesn't have to work. It doesn't have to go all the way through your esophagus, down
Really?
to your...
It's a straight shot.
It's a straight shot.
It's an express train.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
So
this.
for some people, they get a head rush. That tells me they have a lot of GABA missing in their
Oh,
brain.
now I want to just do this like a shot and see see what's missing. See if I've got it or if I don't. Oh, this is so cool.
Yeah, so it's all scientifically done. My co-founder is a doctor, and he specializes in herbs and teas, and he's a scientist.
And can we know who he is?
Yes, Dr. Pei.
Okay.
Yeah, he's amazing. All my friends go to him. Like, yeah, everybody goes to him. They're like, Dr. Pei. I just saw Dr. Pei. I was at working out with some people, and they were like, I'm going to go see Dr. Pei today. So I turned everybody onto Dr. Pei, but he was the person who had told me about this tea like years before I ended up having hot flashes. And I was like, oh, that sounds fantastic. You should do something with it, right?
Right.
And then I get hot flashes.
Yeah.
And I was kind of caught off guard. You know what I thought? I thought I was having a heart attack.
Wow.
And I kept thinking, why do I feel like this? I'm healthy. Like I just did a triathlon 2 weeks prior. Like, how could this be possible? I get a physical every year. I've been getting physical every year since I was 16. Right. I'm one of those like, I want to get ahead of it kind of persons, right? So I'm always like staying on top of my health. And so when I got the hot flash, once I recognized I wasn't having a heart attack, this is like flash 4.
Yeah.
I call him and go, oh my God, Dr. Pei, I'm having hot flashes. And he says, oh, Dee, I thought it wasn't going to happen to you. But hey, remember that tea I gave you? Take some of it.
No way.
And I was like, yeah, remember you gave it to me? Like, where did I put that thing? So I went digging in my pantry. I found it. So I'm a Virgo. Virgos were anal. So I said, okay, there must be a correlation between these hot flashes and something. They just didn't come out of nowhere.
Of course.
This is what I'm thinking in my rational mind.
Absolutely.
Like, okay. So I started logging. Like, what was I eating? Did somebody make me stressed out? So I just like had all these things. How often was I having them? I was having severe hot flashes every hour
Same.
into the night. Like crazy disruption, right?
Totally.
And so I did this for 5 days, and then I took that tea.
Okay.
And by day 5, they were half.
Really?
By day 10, 11, I was having maybe 1 to none.
And you did nothing else differently,
I
obviously.
did nothing else different. I called him and said, what the heck? What is this?
Yeah.
I said, all you have to do is drink some tea? You get rid of freaking hot flashes? Like, we got to do something about this, right?
Yeah.
So we kind of got together, and that's how sort of Tea Botanics came about.
This is incredible. What a great story.
And
And how much tea were you drinking in that period where you were really using yourself as your...
I was drinking it, honestly, every day.
So
Because
10 cups, 1 cup, 2 cups?
I was having 1 cup.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't like
so
you were...
1 cup really worked. I mean, actually, the severity I was having really probably 2 cups.
Yeah.
I still drink my tea today. My brain fog, I drink it almost every day because I do so much to what you said earlier. I do so much. Sometimes I sit at my desk and go, what's the priority for today?
Yes.
And then I drink a tea. And I know exactly what I'm supposed to do.
And then do you close like the 35 windows that are open in your browser? because that'd be great. This is what I'm looking for out of this tea. I'd like it to close those tabs for me.
I can't.
Could it follow up too?
No. I'm so glad you're a 35 browser too.
And that's just on one of them. And then we have 4 of those. And I'm like, oh no more than 4. We have to make sure it's only 4. So we cap it at 120. Denise, thank you so much for taking this time today.
Oh, this
thank
has
you.
been so exciting.
I'm thrilled
Yes.
that everybody can get this at Target.
Yes,
I am
that's
so
right. Yes,
excited.
yes.
Thank you, Target. Shout out
Thank you,
to
Target.
Yes, Target.
Thank you for recognizing midlife women.
Yes, absolutely. So CVS and Target, hello. I'm going to do that same experiment with the brain fog. So I'm going to change nothing else. And I'm going to do it with the brain fog, and I'm going to write down my things.
I'll email you a log.
Great.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. We've
Perfect.
created like a whole log that, you can sort of measure to see whether or not. Because a lot of times, sometimes women don't know whether they're getting better. They go, I feel better. Yeah. But then they know I'm not getting better.
We got to see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got to see it because there's a lot going on. And we're constantly intaking things. And so how do we go back and be like, wait, what did I intake? I mean, my God, that's impossible.
Yeah.
Thank you, Denise.
Thank you.
So happy.
I'm Jacqueline Buckingham. Welcome to your most powerful chapter. Wherever you are on the pause spectrum, this is where you begin. Go to joinmeno.com and get early access. These are the answers, and we bring you the experts that have them.